Good morning, everybody. AJ, the CEO. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are here as best as we possibly can every Friday to come in here and answer your media ministry questions. I don't know everything, folks, but hopefully the little bit that I do know will help you on your journey when it comes to media ministry. Thank you so much for stopping by. I had a chair prepared for somebody who said they were going to be here, but they're too busy upstairs watching on their Chromebook. So they might make a guest appearance. I have no idea. But we're here, folks. And we've been trying to get as much stuff done here because, you know, I am ready. I'm ready. Vacation starts after choir rehearsal tomorrow. We are rolling out, taking my daughter on her first cruise for DDT 25. And that stands for Daddy Daughter Trip 2025. Every year, my goal is to try and take my daughter to new places and all this other fun stuff. So hopefully we'll see how she enjoys all of that fun stuff. But let's holler at the good folks out here that are joining me. Gospel Talk Live ATL, hello, good morning to you. You're Meoni, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Good morning to you. Spotlight Deliverance Temple, good morning. Mike, hello, hello. Pamela, how are you doing? Jeremy, How are you doing? Streets of Destiny. Hello. Kelsey Adams. Good morning to you. Creative for Fun. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Clarence. How you doing, sir? Living Out Loud. Love that. Now, a little bit of information about me. I talk about that living out loud. I actually, when I was in college, I was actually going down the path of doing music and wanted to be a screenwriter and music writer for movies. That's originally what I wanted to do. But when I did my music and my gospel stuff, the songs that I wrote that are registered in the Library of Congress, it was actually, man, I just slipped. What was it? My music label was called Loud for No Reason. That was originally, but then when it went to becoming gospel, it became Loud for a Reason. Yeah, LFAR. Yeah, Loud for a Reason Productions. So that just made me think about that. Michael, hello, hello. Brian Jones, how are you doing? And Smith 5959, hello, hello to you. So like I said, folks, I have a post that's gonna come here. I have it scheduled so it won't throw everybody off. But again, next Friday we'll be traveling back, so I won't be able to do a Q&A for next Friday, so we will be back. I'm still trying to debate, because by the time we come back, next Friday is gonna be July 4th. So I know most people are gonna be off by then, so I'll be on standby. I may do a live stream on the 4th, may do it on the 3rd, maybe a day before, I don't know. But I know we're not gonna have a Q&A on the 27th and not gonna do one on that following time, which makes me sit back and think, I think I posted the wrong time on this post, and I did. So I need to update this post here and change the image and all this other stuff like that. But that's what we got going on. Really excited, folks. We are hop, skip, and a jump away. We are 27 days, 9 hours, and 42 minutes away from our 3rd annual eMissionary Conference. Still plenty of time for you to join, be there in person or online. Come over here to 4meconference.com, hit the register now, and then you can pick in person or online. And pretty much if you're gonna be in person, really need you to hurry up and get that stuff done, because I have to do a cutoff because I got to order the food and all that other fun stuff for the people that are going to be in person. So that cutoff is actually going to be the 11th, July 11th. You can still register, but making sure that you get food and all this other stuff, food of your choice is going to go away. Whatever is left over, that's what you're going to get based off of that. But really excited about all that fun stuff. But let's get all the stuff out of the way. If you like what we do here, folks, consider going to emissionarygear.com. If you don't want to be a patron or a YouTube member, you can always buy some merch there. All the funds that go towards that go towards everything that we do here. I am self-funded to where we do all this stuff here from a business, and great people from contributions from our consultations, emissionarygear.com, our patrons or YouTube members. Those funds go to help fund what we do here, to buy the supplies, buy all the stuff here to help train your media ministry. So if you like what we do and you don't want to do a monthly commitment, you can always go to get some merch there from eMissionary Gear. Also, folks, want to shout out your media team. Email me a question to ajhomes.com, make the subject my media team. Give me a picture of your media team and your ministry location and all name and all the other fun stuff so I can shout them out, because most of the time we're the most and the least celebrated for all the stuff that we do. So let me use this platform to celebrate and all your people for what you're doing the great stuff that you're doing in media ministry. And if you saw my other video on making an AI response, all of this stuff is responded now automatically when you get this. So really excited about that. And also send me your links for your church live streams. Y'all liked, it looks like a lot of people liked the review that I did of Antioch. I have about 5 ministry links that are in the hopper right now. I may try and do another one right after this, so I can have some stuff and release videos while I'm on vacation, schedule them. We'll see. Because again, I have choir rehearsal tomorrow, Me and my daughter, we've already been packed for 2 weeks. So all I got to do is bring the bags downstairs, get in the car, and get to the airport. So that's going to be first thing Sunday morning. So we got a lot of stuff going on, but wanted to see if I can prep as much as possible for y'all. And I think one last week, if you're interested in being a teacher at the eMissionary Conference, you got until next Saturday, no, at the end of this month, to submit that stuff in so you can be a part of it. If not, we're going to have to shut it all down, and we're going to go with what we got, and we'll probably select some panels and all this other stuff to compensate for if we have any blocks of time. If you are a teacher and you did not submit your time, after when I get back, whatever time I put, that's the time you're going to be at. You had over 2 months to book your time. So that's what we got going on. And I think for the most part, that's it. If I don't get you a question, folks, know that you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours. But since I'm going on vacation, you're going to have to give me a week to respond to that. But you can email me at that. And if me and you go back and forth in 3 emails or more, I highly recommend you just go ahead and book a consultation. Go to ajhomes.com/consultations. We do Zoom, Google Meet, phone call, on-site, all that other fun stuff. And like I just posted a video this morning of Cypress Baptist Church. That is probably going to be one of the first or one of the 2 first projects we're going to do right when I get back, depending on how that goes. Got another one in North Carolina we're going to be doing as well too. What else am I forgetting? If you're not a part of it, folks, go to Facebook, look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy. It's like this with 3,500 media ministries from all over the world, us sharing our knowledge to help each other move forward to share the gospel throughout the entire world. We also are going to have a roundtable. I will be finished traveling, so I'm not going to have all the bells and whistles like this, but we will have a roundtable this Sunday. All the information is in the Facebook group. We'll be doing that from Miami. I think that's about it. I don't believe I forgot anything else. Also want to give a big shout out. We're right around the corner, folks. We are at, that number actually is not correct. We're actually, let me look at it. I don't know why that didn't update. We're currently actually at 69,524. So we're 12 more than that. So we are about 476 subscribers away from 70,000. So big shout out for that. But anyway, enough of me blabbing. Let's get to your questions. Please start your questions off with a Q. Makes it very easy for me to see. Hold on, let me do a break here for a second. I was using ChatGPT to try and update some of my images, and boy, they messed this one up something good. AJ Rico, trying to update my image, but we need to get them to correct the spelling. Please correct the spelling on my shirt to AJ the CEO. Let's see if that does that correctly, and we'll come back to that. But anyway, folks, if you got questions, start them off with a Q so it makes it easy for me to see what they are, and we will get started with Jeremy. Good morning. Do you have a philosophy on what the right amount of tech is in a worship space? Where is the line between good and bad stewardship of donations when purchases? So for me, I believe my philosophy is less is more. It's about, like, that's why, I'm being real candid right now. That's why a lot of times people will bring me in, like, I'll give the information because it was told. At Cypress Baptist Church, there was another guest there. I believe he was an associate minister or a guest from another ministry that was there. And in that area, a lot of them, that was my dad's side of the family, but they went with some other companies. And this one guy said it was like they were running like $120,000 to do a revision to their church. I'm nowhere close. Nowhere. Multiples less of my suggestions of what I was giving Cypress. But my whole goal is not to throw a whole lot of tech at the point. My whole thing is what's enough tech that will set them up in the future so that they don't have to replace a whole lot of things, but it will essentially get stuff out of the way, make it as nice and as neat as possible, but facilitate ministry where it can be recorded and captured over video in multiple camera angles, where the cameras are distraction free. They're on the wall, but they're not going to be all obtrusive and all this other crazy stuff. Does it produce the sound? Can the tech I'm putting in there be taught at a level that the people, the volunteers that are using it, are going to be able to use it? That's my philosophy. I'm not about throwing tech for the sake of throwing tech. That's why a lot of times some of my videos get boring, because I'm suggesting the same stuff because that stuff works. It's not that I'm slow to change. It's like a lot of stuff doesn't need to be thrown in there yet. And I don't suggest anything to anybody that I haven't personally used. I'm not going to let a church be a guinea pig. I'm the guinea pig. That's the first thing that I do. So that's my philosophy of like, what can be done that will set them up in the future as best as possible, so that like in 5 years, everything doesn't need to be gutted and replaced. Can it effectively do what they're currently doing at a higher standard? And can they impact more and have more possibilities with the stuff that I have in place? That's what I do. And then when it comes for the stewardship and the donations, again, I mean, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot when I say this, but like, it's kind of hard for me to tell you the amount that I do, because I'll just put it this way. If we go with that reference of another church doing something similar, another company, and they were recommending $120,000 worth of that, I'll just put this, divide that by 7, and you're almost close to the range of where I am. Because again, my whole goal is I have to be careful how I say this. If I was trifling, I could come in here and be like, hey, in that 50 install challenge, if I was really going for gusto like that, it would be like, okay, I'm going to profit $20,000 off of each one of those churches. And then, I mean, your boy would be making bank if I was trying to do it for that purpose. But again, it's not. So if I was profiting $20,000 off of those 50 installs, that would be me bringing in $1 million in a year. I would love to do that. But again, my focus is not on how much I can make from each project. My goal is how far ahead can I set this church on impacting the world and reaching not just their congregation, just not their neighborhood, just not their city, not their state, but how much can I set them so that they can impact the world? And then what I get from that, their response and how they're reaching people, is more of the benefit that I get out of that. Honestly, sometimes, let me be real. Yeah, I wish I could be the focus of like, I'm just out there for that money, but hey, I wasn't built like that. And real quick, before we go to the next question, that's the correction that the image did. So that's a lot better on that. I did a Japanese anime inspired image. And for whatever reason, the images haven't been working properly when they were downloaded. So it looks like this one actually is working now. So I might actually use that for my next images on here, but stuff is getting better every day. So Jeremy, hopefully that answered your question. Streets of Destiny giving an update. I still haven't had a chance to do my free show demo, going through that, but they're saying free show is preparing to charge for multi-streaming. Hey, it's a matter of time. I don't know if y'all remember back in the day when I was doing this 5-6 years ago, I was saying get started when it's free, because sooner or later they're going to start charging for this stuff. And that prophecy is coming true. Michael, in your recent video design, my OCD is killing me with the Ethernet cable arrow on the X32. The arrow is crooked. Love the videos. Keep going. Hey, that's why I say sometimes that stuff be getting on my nerves when that goes. Monty, what is going on, sir? Man, excited to actually meet you in person at the conference. That's going to be cool. We can have some fun there. Philip Paul, hello, hello. Smith 5959. Is there a way to send audio wirelessly from the audio mixer to 3 cameras. Well, my first question is, why are you sending audio to the cameras? I need to know your workflow so I can understand that. Is there a way to send audio wirelessly from the audio mixer to the 3 cameras? The answer is yes. I'm actually kind of doing that right now. You would do it in reverse. I have my DJI mic here. You'll probably go with the other one, or any of these, like the Rode Wireless or the Hollyland Lark. What you would do is just do this in reverse, because this receives audio and this, this captures audio, and then this receives that audio that's being sent. So kind of like the same way, you would have the out from your mixer going into one of these if you have like a jack, and then put this on where you want it to be received. So yes, it can be done wirelessly. But again, my question is, why do you want to send it to the mics? To the cameras. Tangela, good morning to you. Gospel Talk Live ATL. Who is your go-to for Persona Studio Live boards? Sweetwater. That's who I go for all of my audio stuff. We're using the 32SX, and our stream is very static using the USB. I have mix 1 and 2 linked to channels 24. In the meantime, I'm using a headphone out. Yeah, please do not use the headphone out for that. But if you're having the USB is staticky, what I would probably say is, well, first, are you on a Windows or Mac? If you're on Windows, go into the device manager. And actually, let's open that up. And this is, honestly, you'll be surprised how much this causes issues on Windows systems. You come in here to the device manager, drop on down here to, and actually, hold on, I was making sure my network is still working. My 10 gigabit. You come down here into Universal Serial Bus Controllers, come inside of here and go to Properties. And if you have Power Management, and see, Windows Updates keeps turning this on. Pretty much this is saying Windows is intelligently, I'm going to turn off the USB because I don't think you're needing it. Disable all of this. You would be surprised how much this impacts stuff. And I go in here all the time. And that's why I'm saying updates turn this back on for some stupid reason. I really need to write a registry script that disables this stuff collectively. I do that for Copilot. I can't stand Copilot in any way, shape, or form, and it integrates itself every stinking where on Windows PC. So when I build a computer, I actually run a script that turns all that stuff off automatically and gets rid of it from installing and all the other applications where it is. So pretty much go through everything. Most of the time, the USB composite device does not have it. It's normally controllers. So you can see it did an update and it added some more on there, because by default, my other ones have already been set to being off. So I think when AMD's drivers did an update, it did that by default. But go in there, if it's Windows, turn that off. And most of the time, that's what caused that static, because it's like turning the device on and off multiple times. That's what I would suggest for that. And honestly, suggest that for anybody. If you're using any type of USB device for your live stream, and turn that USB power management off. Lamar, what's the difference between ProPresenter Control website and ProPresenter app? I honestly don't see a difference. Most of the time, the app is just talking to the web interface coming from the application. That's really all it's doing. And the app just gives it in tablet form or phone form to do that. MA16V3, all the more reason we should be self-hosting multi-stream if we have an on-site bandwidth. Nginx for life. Personally, that's why my other system, my own cast and all that other stuff is upstairs playing around with that, because sooner or later it is going to see. I knew you were going to bring this out of me. So I don't care which way you swing government wise. This stuff is getting out of control. From copyright stuff to people claiming all this other stuff. Sooner or later, like MA16V3, and I've been saying this for years, it's going to get to a point where you might actually get in trouble just for broadcasting the message, the word of God. Just honestly, just call it the way it is. So learning this stuff. That's why I'm just thankful for the stuff that y'all are doing to try and learn more stuff outside of media ministry and at a higher level, because it's going to come to a point sooner or later, unfortunately, that at least here in the United States, that some of our, First Amendment rights might get questioned. So to have your own stuff or some of these social media stuff because they want to keep money in their pocket, they might have an issue with leveraging and letting you use certain stuff. So having your own cast, learning Nginx, I've been meaning to actually make a video showing how to do that. When I get back and after the conference, maybe I'll do that, go through a whole setting up Linux, setting up all this other stuff, because you can use one of these mini PCs and that is more than powerful enough to do that. But anyway, we're going to get into that. And especially with the internet getting faster and faster and faster with your upload. I mean, if you got files, like I got 1,000 up and 1,000 down, that's more than enough for people coming to that and then maybe hosting it. But I think sooner or later it's going to get to that point. But anyway, enough of that. We Def Mod. I was trying to say the name. I was like, huh? How do you launch a executable with BitFocus Companion? I would redirect that to Mike, because Mike is here and he is the BitFocus Companion master. So Mike, if you could take a stab at that, sir, I would greatly appreciate that, because that is outside of my wheelhouse. Back to Gospel Talk Live. What does the yellow and red stripes mean after a person's name mean? What do you mean? Where are you seeing that? Is that in YouTube or what? Because I don't see what you're talking about. Creative for fun, loving the AI. I'm making shorts on the messages preached on Sundays for the kids, Pixar style. See, awesome. I saw another video that I'm actually working on right now. I'm actually looking at making a music video from a song that I'm doing for the Voices of Praise on Fifth Sunday. I'm trying to play along with that as well. Just use more stuff. I mean, what's the point of just having the camera show the choir when you can integrate that with a video? It's like, see, this is my whole thing. And yes, I'm getting on my shoebox here, but it's not going to be a rant or nothing like that. I'm being personal right now. So a lot of times my struggles when it comes to church, and whether it's any church I've been associated with, is I know what I'm capable of doing. And I have a vision to go certain places. It does not override the pastor's vision. It's not dissension, but I know what I'm capable of doing. And a lot of times I have to water myself down because the environment where I'm at is not ready for what I can do. Now, I'm not trying to be biblical, but this is me. When I get to the end of my life and I have to stand before the gates and say, AJ, I gave you the skills to do these things. Why didn't you do it? It's not going to be an acceptable excuse to say, well, the church I was at didn't let me use the gifts and talents that you gave me. That's not going to be an acceptable excuse. So for me, I had to learn how to, find avenues to do what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm doing my stuff on YouTube. It is nowhere close to where I really want to do. It's really not. I mean, I have grand visions of the things that I want to do, desire to do, and I don't have the resources to do that. Don't have the manpower to do that. But my belief is let me keep doing to the best of my ability what I can. I'm being real transparent. I'm really fighting with a faith and belief type of thing of like, God, why would you give me these desires and this imagination of being able to do these things, but I don't have the opportunity to do it? You're not a God that would tease me and, mess with me. So it's like, I'm going to give you a desire of this. I'm going to give you the desire for a family. I'm going to give you the desire for a business. I'm going to give you the desire for ministry. I'm going to give you a desire for a broadcast network that's sharing the message like this. I'm going to give you a vision of a conference that people can come to internationally, but I'm not going to give you any type of resources to do that. I don't believe God is like that. So I say all this that I use this to the best of my ability to share this vision, and use YouTube and social media, whatever, to fulfill some of that stuff when I can't do that at the current ministry I'm at or I'm associated with. So I say that to y'all that sometimes it feels like it's an invisible wall. I don't know if y'all have played Detroit Become Human. I've done that video before where it's an android that's pushing against the wall of code that's limiting them. They had to break the code to free themselves. Sometimes I feel like that's where we are in our Christian beliefs, that we're holding ourselves back from the thoughts and opinions of the environment we're at. Sometimes the biblical philosophy that we were taught that is holding us back from letting ourselves go into what God can actually do for us. Because sometimes it gets scary. Like when I did all this to leave my job and everything like that, it was scary to do that when everyone around me was telling me it's not going to work. And I was telling my daughter this the other day, we're going on 10 years where 10 years ago, everybody was saying what you're doing, AJ, would not work. I have not worked for another company that I did not own for 8 years. Meaning that all of this that everybody told me would not work has provided for everything that we're doing for 8 years. So I don't know. I want to go into that, but I don't know. I just try and tell y'all, just like push the limits. And sometimes, yes, does get scary when you think you're going to push the limits and no one's going to be there. I feel that way every time I post a video. What if I post this video and nobody watches it? Okay, I'm posting the video because this is an outlet for my creativity and what God gives me as a desire, hoping that it will get the results. I don't do it for the results. I do it as a release because that's the only place I can actually use these gifts and talents right now. So hopefully you understand. All right, back to Gospel Talk Live ATL. If that's a Mac, that's strange if it's doing that. Is it going directly into your system, or is it going into kind of like a interface or something like that? Well, no, it couldn't be because you're going from USB directly into that. Well, no, is the USB coming from the board going into like a hub or something, or is it going directly into the Mac? Let me know. Mike, thinking about using a drone for some shots for our upcoming outdoor service. Any recommendations on which one to use in terms of quietness and quality? Personally, the Mini that I'm using has always worked well for me. I mean, I have a bunch of them. I have the Neo that's sitting right behind me over here. I haven't used that one as much as I should, but personally, the Mini 3 is what all of the videos that you see me do is based off of this one for the most part. Now I do have other ones, like I have my my Envato that I really love flying, but with this one, I need to actually get some contacts because I have to take my glasses off. And when you fly one of these first person ones where you have to have a goggle, you actually have to have somebody with you to overlook you so that somebody isn't coming up and just smacking you in the back of the head and kind of being a spotter for you. But honestly, the Mini is great. Again, the smaller one that I have that would work as well too, and I don't know why it's not showing up here. It's the Neo. That's the smaller one that I have. Get out of here. Where's it at? Don't tell me they discontinued it. Yeah, this one right here. That one gives very good shots, and yes, you can control it with your phone. That's the really, really small one that I got behind me. And, you know, I was able to get this one at a steal. So like sub $300, that's a good start. And that would give you the types of shots that you need personally. Just be mindful. I don't know the rules in Canada, but here in the US, you're really not supposed to fly over people and things like that. And we're limited to 400 feet and in altitude and all this other fun stuff. And it has to stay within eye shot of wherever you're flying to. You need to be able to see it with your natural eye. But any one of those, I think with the Neo starting off with something like that, That would be a good start because you can link it to a joystick or you can use your phone to actually control it because that's AI controlled and it just follows you, but you can link it to your phone so it can fly based off of that. I think that would be a good start. Tony Clements, good morning, AJ. I noticed watching your videos, excuse me, that you use the Blackmagic ATEM almost exclusively. Have you considered the OC Ghost Stream? Have more than a dozen installs and with great results. Actually, yes, I've actually used that in a bunch of them. I have that one. I have a bunch of devices I go through. I mean, I got the AV-CANs switcher here. I do have the Ghost Stream. That's actually in my car because that's going to be in one of the classrooms at the conference. And as a follow-up to the video YOLO Live, actually, I was supposed to return this to YOLO Live at the end of this month, but they're going to let me keep this for longer. And this is going to be we're going to be using this at the conference as well, too. So probably going to use a class to set that up. Me personally, I'm sticking with that just because I guess that's where I started with. And then I have made other suggestions. And most of the time, the people who reach out to me, they're like, we like what you did at this ministry. We want the exact same thing. So unless somebody, now sometimes some churches have came in and said, no, this is what we want, and I installed that. So that's just kind of the reason. But yes, I have used the Ghost Stream. I've suggested that to a couple of other ministries, and they like it personally. So not knocking it, but that's mainly the reason why I picked the stuff that we do. MA16V3, we should not be paying to use bandwidth, i.e. multi-RTMP. We already pay for to our ISP. Hey, I agree. I agree. Oh, Gospel Talk Live. The star is because those are YouTube members. That's why. So those folks are the ones who contribute monthly as a YouTube member. Darius, good morning, good morning. And Mike, thank you for that. He said to launch that, you'll do internal and then run shell path and put the path of the executable. Thank you, thank you. Creative for Fun, definitely want to learn about Owncast and our Nginx. Yeah, I set up Nginx a while. I think I told you about that. I set that up originally with my Mavic, and my Mavic was streamed to the Nginx on a Raspberry Pi, and then the Raspberry Pi capture that video and broadcast that video on the HDMI out, and that's how I plugged it into my ATEM. Let's see. Tech Lab Studio, great morning to you as well. Let me see. Adams, I don't know if you redacted this or not. It actually says you retracted this message, so never mind. I will come back to that. Hey, no, you are right on time. Thanks for joining. Okay, and you're saying you're directly connecting it to the Mac and it's giving that. That's crazy. I would look up and see, are there any drivers that they offer with the personas for that? Sometimes it might be some updates with that. I know the X32 doesn't have anything for the Mac. It just works, but it locks it to inputs 1 and 2. But I would see about that. If it's not, that's strange. Worst case scenario, I hate adding another piece of tech when it should be working. Try and see if you can get one of these cheap audio interfaces. This is off the M Audio that I got from Amazon. I got 2 of them under here. You can hook this up and bring this in to the computer over USB and then connect direct feed from your mixer into this and see if that works. And honestly, if you want one, like I said, I got 2 of these. I offered this to a couple of people. I got 2 of them sitting up under my desk, so they're not even being used. So if you want one, if you pay for the shipping, you can have it. Just email me at questions@ajhomes.com, give me that info, and I can send it to you. If you want it, that's up to you. Just as an option. I mean, those things are $25. All right, here's your updated one. Is the ATEM needed with the M1 Mac for a Sony camera? We have TVs and we want to put slides on the stream. No, it's not needed. You could do all of that with OBS or whatever platform software that you use in the stream. you would just capture, like if you're using OBS, you would capture the desktop, and you would need some type of capture card to bring the video from your Sony camera into it. But no, at ATEM is not needed. It would make it easier, but no, it is not needed. Gospel Talk live again. Currently, it's on a HD phone to a Pro FX 2-channel board, then USB out to the Mac. No problem there, but it's the wrong way to do it. So it's going to a 2-channel. Why not come directly from the board instead of having like do another mix and just go directly from your main board into that? Just wondering. Creative for fun. She used the Neo. Yeah, it's a really good one. I just haven't had a chance to fly it as much as anything. Really, that used to be my relaxing type of thing. But maybe we might get into that a little bit more. Piano player. Good morning. Will you be doing live stream review videos on a current schedule? Yes, we're aiming to try and do it every Tuesday. I've built up some more, so I might actually do more, but yes, I want to do it on Tuesday. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to do it next week, but yes, I want to actually do that on either the Monday. No, give me some time to do it on Monday from a Sunday and then do it on Tuesday. So yes, I hope to do that recurringly. Back to Lamar, with the cap on the A10 being 1080p, how can I get a better quality recording using OBS? I see videos that looks 4K at 1080, and others looks 360p. I checked bitrate, etc., but can't get a good video. What's your bitrate at right now? And let me know, and then we'll play around with that, because that's really what determines that. Back to Mike. I've been looking at the DJI Neo Fly More package so I can stream it as a part of our stream. I don't think the Neo can do it that way. I think they've turned a lot of that stuff off, but I mean, there are ways you could do it. But I have to play around with that and see what we can do. HS Audio. Hey, AJ, live ATL might want to check if the sample rate matches. Good suggestion. I would check that as well too. Thank you for that. Living Out Loud. Are you using OBS version 30 or higher? If so, are you having any issues with it crashing? At Antioch, it's using 31.03, and no, I have not had any crashes with that. And most of the clients that I have that are still using OBS, I have them on the latest, and they have not had any issues. Sweet. Back to Monty. At the conference venue, a time that we have to leave the building, I would love to try and record a couple of podcasts with the attendees. I mean, for the most part, there is no cap time. Thankfully, I have people that have the keys to the building. So for the most part, there isn't a time where we have to actually be out like that. You know, I have some other people. You know, we wouldn't want to have people stay until 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But again, I'm about 10 minutes away from the church. I have a couple of people that I can ask that can lock the doors, unlock the doors. So no, you should be fine when it comes to that. So no, I plan so the registration starts on Friday the 18th at 8 a.m. I plan to be there around like maybe 5:36, and that whole week probably gonna be doing videos showing all the setup and prep for anything else that's left over from that. I had a bunch of vendors said they were gonna do some stuff, haven't heard from them. So, hey, one clown that doesn't show up for their act in the circus does not stop the circus. So we still move forward. So I wanted to have a lot more stuff. Some people promised stuff, haven't heard nothing, but oh well, we keep going. So we're going to be there setting up and prepping for everything to make it a good experience for everybody online and in person. Philip Paul, have you used a touch monitor with a PC to control the XR18 media? Yes, I have. It was a couple of churches that did that. It was not Glen Island Baptist. It was one church that they had to set up. And I mean, it worked well. So I think. Yeah, so I think I already answered it. Your comment showed up twice, Monty, so I already answered, so you're good. Back to Gospel Talk. I ran out of XLRs and have a 1/4 jack as a workaround until I get the XLR cable. Okay, cool. That should work. Still work. Vlad, we got a church room 40 feet by 80 feet. And it got no acoustic treatment. How would I go about understanding how to soundproof it? And are those DIY sound panels filled with insulation doing a good job? Personally, I have not done that. TCF actually was gonna do that, and I think they went with somebody else to do it. So, because I hadn't heard back from them about it, because that was like a concrete shell that they were doing that. Most of the time for acoustic stuff, and like, I don't have that many issues in here. It does bounce around, but you're looking at carpet on the floor, brings that in. If you got cushions on seat, that does that. Bodies do that as well too. And I need to find it. Excuse me. It was some app that I saw somebody do on YouTube that they recommended. It was kind of over the top that some acoustic people use that focus just high level audio stuff, where they bring stuff in and it does lasers and all this other stuff to show how that stuff will work. I need to reference one of those that actually will tell you how to do it instead of just trying to give you piecemeal it to you and trying to sell you some nonsense. Let me get back on that one. Email me so I can remember that when I get back and we can go over that. I can research that. Dennis, I would like to start a NAS system with the same hardware you started with. Hardware recommendations. Also, a good 10-inch monitor that has HDMI plus old yellow RCA connections. Personally, I wouldn't go with a monitor with an RCA connection. I would rather just get an HDMI to RCA converter. That would work better. I used to have those HDMI to RCA converter. So like something like this is what I used to use back in the day, and they're actually way cheaper now. So something like that, it would scale it down to RCA and that would work fine for that. Actually, this is the one that I actually used. And I think that's actually still upstairs in one of the drawers at Antioch that we used. Because when they had an old standalone DVD recorder, we sent this into this and then it converted it out to, you know, the mustard, ketchup, and mayonnaise cables. And that's how it was recorded. That's what I would recommend for that, for your monitor. But for a NAS system, which one? Because we did do a couple of them, so I can make sure I know exactly the one that you're talking about. I'm not going to bring up your other comment, Dennis, but hey, you know, you were fine. You were fine. Back to Mike. From my understanding, if you go the Flymore package with the controller in the app, you can use RTMB broadcast stream within the app. Man, see, I'm going to have to play around with that. Hold on. Because see, here's my Neo. And granted, I have not used this in a minute. So we got my FAA registration stuff, and I do have the Flymore package here. If it wasn't for the fact that flying in the Bahamas is illegal, actually, tell me how I know that. Because I actually flew and somebody stopped me. And I was like, ooh. I know better next time not to do that. I need to see what other updates are on this, because I have that. Because if that's possible, that's really cool. That I need to see what they got. All right, so that's there. And should I tempt fate and try and have this thing take off?
Medium. Follow. 3,
2,
2, 1.
Okay, so that's here. But I need to get into the app to see what it does. Are you not gonna land? Thank you. I need to see what the app is, because if you say it does that, I do want to play around with that. And let me set this here, because if my daughter comes down here, she's not gonna notice and sit right on this thing. But I need to play around with that, because the other ones, my Mavic, I still have, but the controller doesn't charge anymore. So that stinks. I need to see if I can buy another one and get that one working, because that one did have that built in. MGD dock here. For those going out to a projector using the A10 Mini Extreme, a Decimator MD-LV solved the issue with the projector not showing. It just works. Projector and TVs work now. Okay, cool. Like, I know I've also used the up-down cross HD. So that sounds like if it didn't work, it might be the resolution that the projector didn't support, or not the resolution, and sometimes it's the frame rate. But I'm glad you got it working for you. Back to Lamar, saying the video bit rated at 5,000. The lighting had an opportunity to get better. It is bad, but I work at other sites where the light is great, but the video is still, that's strange. Yeah, 5,000 is the same one that I have set at Antioch, and the video is fine. That's strange. I don't know off the top of my head. Let's see. What budget lighting options do you recommend for small sanctuaries with poor lighting? Well, the first thing that I would recommend is, what type of camera are you using? Are you using a Sony camera? What type of camera is that? And then the first thing, the easiest thing that I would do is put daylight LED bulbs into whatever lights that you have. That's the first thing that I would do, because then that's not adding new lights. Anything other than that, I have not delved into lighting yet. That's actually probably going to be with Pastor Allen down in Emporia. When they decide to do that, that's going to be my first delving into lighting like that. So I normally do, average stuff. And then again, I'm learning here. So like in my example, and let me turn this off so you don't have to see the back of my head. Let's turn off tracking, and then we can zoom out. So like with me, I'm still learning the lighting as well too. So I just have these two lights here, and typically, and I didn't even turn them on, you don't see my background like I normally would have. I have some LED lights, RGB lights, that you see my mess down there. This is as low as I can go, but you can see one right there in the corner, that little stick right there that's magnetically stuck to the leg of the table. And then actually I'll turn it on. So those are the lights that I have here. And then I have another light that wraps around the table. That's that white strip right there. That's the Govee strip light that wraps around there. And that's what I use for my lighting. But again, I'm trying to learn that. So you see my nice little atmospheric lighting and stuff like that. Working on some other stuff. And again, I have something that I want to announce, but I have to wait until I actually get 100% confirmation. So we might have some more things to play around with soon. But like I said, I'm really waiting to officially announce some other stuff that hopefully we can have an example that we can play around with that. All right, so you're talking about the original one. I'm assuming you're talking about the Synology J215, I believe it's something like that. Why do they keep sending me? Yeah, I would do that, and then go with maybe like some 8 terabytes or maybe 10 terabyte drives for that. Back to Vlad. Thank you. By the way, a couple of weeks ago, I asked you on whether to go with the X32 or compact. Yesterday, we finally got the full X32, so super excited to start using it. Thank you. Hey, great. Glad you got something that y'all are working with, excited for, and then I'm glad that the little videos that I do actually help you with what you're going to use it for. So that's awesome. Let me turn on the tracking back on here. What else do we got? We got any new? No, I think we're caught up on our messages here. So like I said, just really excited about a lot of stuff that's going on. Let me actually go back here to the website and let's log in, and we're gonna talk through a little stuff. So we actually had some proposals with the people here in the conference and some of the teachers. I asked them about some other things we're gonna do. So just know that the Q&A, that just like the Q&A that we're doing right now, this is going to be held live from the conference, but we're going to have attendees as well as the comments that if you're not there, just like we're bringing in here. So we're going to open up and have a window to the people in the conference as well, meet online and all this other stuff like that as well too. We may do that for the Bible trivia game show. You just need to think about that as well too. But we just got a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to doing here at the conference. So getting on board with that. That will be streamed to YouTube. So it'll show up the exact same way that this live stream does, because the class and the live stream is at the exact same time that I normally have it. So like coming in here for that day session. So the Q&A is actually I pushed it back. It's actually going to start at 11. So it'll start an hour later instead of at 10 for that. So that would be the same way. So it'll be conference people will come in here, but if y'all are on here through YouTube, I'm probably going to put vMix there at the church so we can have the same experience. We're bringing up comments and all that other stuff. And I'll probably do a deep dive and showing how to set that up as well too. I might buy a 1-month license just to have it turned on and move everything over and all that other fun stuff. But coming in here, like I said, replays will be listed in this area. So we're building that out. So the videos will be here. All the videos for our Patreon supporters and YouTube members, y'all will have access to this stuff maybe around like October, November. And then January of next year, that's why all the other videos that happen at the conference will be released for everybody else. Back to okay, well, that's Lamar talking to MA16. Back to Mike. Apparently, the DJI Fly app will let you live stream to RTMP from the Neo if you have it hooked up to a controller, but not if you're just the phone. Okay, I have a controller I can hook up to that, so I'll have to play around with that. Back to Lamar. Also, AJ, I'm looking forward to connecting with you whenever you're in the Detroit area. The Israel God would love to have you. Well, I know when I'm going to be there in Chicago, I'm going to be there for like 2 weeks. So might take a little jaunt away from there and head up in that Michigan area. One of my friends from college is in Lansing. So might just take a drive and maybe pop up and surprise Anthony while I'm up there as well too. We'll see y'all in there. Richard, hello, hello. He was saying, you're always helping our team with installs we do in cabling, so glad to be of help. Hey, AJ, is there any possibility of getting a duplicate input on the XR18? What do you mean by duplicate input? Like, what are you trying to do? Hey, give me a little bit more description when you're talking about a duplicate. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and just start with thanking our Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Like I said, folks, if you like what we do, consider going to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO and get started for as little as $1.50 a month. All these great people have been contributing here for quite a while, and I'm very thankful for that. They help us do what we're able to do. Like I said, we're self-funded through the business or by Patreon supporters or YouTube members. If you don't like Patreon, you can click the join button down below. That's how you get that star by your name as supporters here. And we do discounts and benefits to Patreon supporters and YouTube members. We enter their names into our giveaways twice. That giveaway that's coming up for when we hit 70,000 subscribers, that is coming up again, that is going to be the 2 mini PCs and the AV cams cameras. So that is coming up. That's going to be that giveaway. And I am going to go back and redo that video, a 2025 version of if I was starting from scratch, what would I get? What would I do? What stuff would I do if I had $1,000 or less, $2,000 or less, $5,000 or less, $10,000 or less? And, you know, we'll go as high. Well, I can go as high as possible, but I want it to be realistic. And just full transparency, in all of the installs that I've done over the years, the most expensive install that I've ever done was around, not currently, the most expensive one that I've ever done has been around maybe $50,000, but that was with multiple digital walls, completely redoing everything from, I mean, it was like a brand new church being built. So we were doing infrastructure, wiring, had to submit stuff with the county, doing sound system, speakers, lighting. Well, no, I was a part of the lighting, networking, security, instruments, digital wall, multiple TVs, outside security cameras, inside security. I mean, it was like a 6-month thing. I think the next biggest project is going to be the Chicago one. We don't have the final total on that because stuff is keep changing. And I think, I'm going to say it because I got a call, so it's not 100%. I think some other stuff is going to happen in Chicago to where we might have to do some government work with their, I don't want to say government. I think the church is going to have to move to a different location because I think the church that we set them up in, I think they're selling that church, so they have to move again to a different location. And the other location that's they're looking at moving at, they have internet issues. So they want me to come and fix the internet issues at this government building and then get them straight. So we might have some more stuff coming in as well too. So I haven't seen anything else with that. Like I said, folks, information is going to be on the Facebook for our roundtable. Highly recommend you join that. We are going to have a roundtable at the end of a conference. So if you're going to be at the conference and you've never been at a roundtable, oh, you're going to have a blast. And especially we're going to have, this is probably going to be the largest roundtable that we have as well. All attendees in person, please make sure you submit what you want for your food, because if not, you just got to get whatever is there. And I think that's mainly about it. I can see that my daughter did not show up at all. I had all the stuff set up for her, but she decided not to come. I don't see anything new here, folks. But I appreciate y'all being here and being here every time that I come here and do this live stream. I know time is the one thing that you're never going to get back. So I appreciate that you invest in your time with me. I want to make it worth your time as well. That you give me time, I want to give that back to you. Really appreciate that. Let me get to this last question and we'll shut it down early. Currently, we use the digital mixer for our main service. Then when they have practice, I have to transfer to an analog mixer for them to use. So, but my question is, why do you have to move to an analog? Why switch back to another mixer? That would be my question. MS16. I'd also check other settings in the camera. I'd mess around. Okay, that's for the image quality one. But anyway, folks, like I said, I really appreciate what y'all are doing. Again, just know that you're not in the battle by yourself. This stuff, you know, for me personally, I have to really focus on the fact that when I talked about this earlier, sometimes when it feels like you're a stranger in a foreign land here in Richmond, sometimes with the stuff that I do, I have to just lean on y'all, because when people don't understand what I'm doing or thinking what I'm doing is crazy or whatever, and they just don't see the vision of it, I'm just thankful to the fact that I have people like y'all that are watching. And some people might not hear what I'm saying here, but y'all do. So I really appreciate that. And I want that to be in moments that if you feel discouraged where you're at, because I had a long conversation with a person I had a consultation with, and we went maybe another hour past that time just talking, that I know a lot of y'all are frustrated with what y'all are trying to do because you're just trying to move this forward, but a lot of people are resistant to change. Don't let them put out your fire. I have to remind myself that a lot of times, that when everybody else would rather be mediocre and they're content with staying the way they are, don't fall into that trap. You're pushing for a reason. You have the desire for a reason. We were called to stand out. We were not called to fit in. All right. You know, I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Again, we're not going to be here next Friday. We're going on vacation. And I will see y'all. I'll leave an update if we're going to be here on a day before. We're definitely not going to do anything on the 4th of July. Might do it a day before. Might do it on a Saturday. I don't know. Be on lookout on the community tab, and we'll go from that. Y'all have, well, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, folks. And we'll be catching y'all when we get back from vacation. Love y'all. Later, folks.